Please be seated. Good afternoon, graduates, family and friends, faculty, and members of the Platform Party. I'm Toni Gansel, and I'm Dean of the School of Medicine. It's my pleasure to welcome each of you to the School of Medicine's 179th convocation. I congratulate the graduates and welcome their many friends and family members that are sharing in your special celebration today. All of us celebrate with you. It is just the best of times. It's a School of Medicine tradition to invite the parents and spouses of our graduates who are physicians or members of our UofL faculty to participate in the academic procession later. We'll invite those family members who are dressed in academic apparel of cap and gown to join us on the stage in hooding their graduate. It's a really special event for all of these families. At this point, I would ask the families of all of our graduates to stand and to be recognized for the support that they have given to you. Families? We also welcome representatives of our faculty and department chairs, those who have contributed so much to the education of these graduates. Would you please stand? I'm now pleased to declare this convocation open for the 179th annual conferring of the degree of Doctor of Medicine from the University of Louisville School of Medicine. Class of 2017, in the spirit of full disclosure, you actually had your degrees conferred at 11:46 this morning. So you can officially turn to one another and say, Doctor, Doctor, Doctor. Can't do is leave, because this is your special celebration and your special commencement. This is just about you, our graduating medical students, about you commencing to start the next phase of your medical training. You've learned and mastered the science and the art of medicine that's going to equip you to be outstanding residents. You've distinguished yourselves both individually and collectively, not only in academic excellence, but in service excellence as well. You've served your patients, served your school, served your community, and served your profession. And along the way, many of you have gotten married, had babies, you've celebrated together as a class, you've lamented together as a class, and you've rallied together as a class towards helping us improve student experience for students to come. You've left a lasting legacy, and we sincerely appreciate each and every one of you. We congratulate each and every one of you. It's now my pleasure to ask Dr. Matt Wieste to come to the stage and give his remarks. Matt has been a superb leader, a positive change agent, and a wonderful advocate for the class of 2017.
Good afternoon, Dean Gansel, our keynote speaker, Dr. McMasters, distinguished guests, and most importantly, friends and family. Dr. Thomas B. Calhoun was the professor and chairman of the Department of Physiology from 1967 to 1980. Dr. Calhoun gave unselfishly to students, faculty, and colleagues his time, energy, and ingenuity to the teaching of the basic concepts of physiology. Dr. Calhoun brought to our medical school a distinguished educational background with major experiences as an investigator, teacher, and mentor of his field. This award is given to a basic sciences or clinical teacher who best exhibits the quality teaching standards of Dr. Calhoun. This year, our class chose a professor we met early in our education, a woman who taught us respect for human life through her teaching of the anatomical sciences. She is an advocate for her students and has worked tirelessly in transforming our curriculum. It is my honor to present Dr. Jennifer Bruckner Collins the 2017 Dr. Thomas B. Calhoun Teaching Award. I want to thank you all for being here with us today to celebrate the accomplishment of a lifetime. In medicine, whenever someone gives a formal address, it usually begins with a disclosure statement. So today, I'm happy to disclose my wife Anna is 9 months pregnant. As if we did not believe we would be getting little sleep already as an intern. However, if my speech ends abruptly and I run off stage, she's given me the signal that her labor has begun. I hope you understand. Ladies and gentlemen, this was not a mere 4-year journey. It began in all of us with a call, an understanding of our vocation, and then a relentless pursuit of that dream. If you're sitting among us today, you have contributed, been witness to, inspired, prayed for, encouraged, cheered, and sacrificed alongside of one or more of the 155 students we honored this 13th day in May. We, the class of 2017, owe everything to those who have filled the seats around us. My wish is that my words would, in the very least, make an attempt in expressing our gratitude. Ferris Bueller once said, "Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you might miss it." Please excuse me for quoting my favorite 1980s movie, but on an occasion such as this, I believe it to be appropriate. The fact is, many things have happened in our maturation as physicians. Our school has faced arguably its largest challenge to date as we improved upon suggestions made by our accrediting agency. Our educational facilities were renovated and have become the finest and most advanced medical learning spaces in the state of Kentucky, if I do say so myself. We suffered the losses of professors, Dr. Steve Myers, Dr. George Maurer, and Dr. Robert Acklin, who dedicated much of their lives to educating medical students. We saw faces of families after learning their child had died from a motor vehicle crash. We bore witness to the tears of disappointment when cancer had returned. Concurrently, we brought life into the world, helped cut away patients' diseases, held the hands of those scared, seen the smiles of our patients finally healed of their wounds. Some of you fell in love, got married, or had children. And through it all, let us not forget, classmates, we spent a lot of time studying. It was in those countless hours I most often felt the weight of Mr. Bueller's famous line. All else considered, medical school and the pursuit of this degree we receive today could be described in one word: sacrifice. Undoubtedly, we have missed birthdays, weddings, graduations, and more due to the focus we placed on this moment. The most common reason I hear for someone not wanting to pursue a degree in medicine is that they could not handle the lifestyle. Yet there's no better life I would want than to be the person others will entrust their life to. Recently, I had a friend say to me that she would trust her life to me if she ever needed an operation. At first, I was amazed, thinking, I hope she knows I'm not a surgeon yet. But then I was overwhelmed with pride, knowing those sacrifices had been investments in the life I was called to. To everyone here who has received the brunt of our sacrifices, for me especially, Anna, we love and thank you for your understanding and commitment to letting nothing stand in the way of our success. Today, our success is your success. In all of that studying, friends, humor me when I say we must have learned something. Yet, as I sat reflecting on what I would speak of today, none of that which came to mind I learned from a textbook. The perils of wisdom I keep closest to heart are those I have learned from mentors, loved ones, my parents, and you, my classmates. Collectively, every one of my peers has taught me something about leadership and the person I've become. I have with me the original pamphlet from our white coat ceremony. It contains the names of our classmates and our oath. I've kept this on my person through every rotation and every patient encounter in medical school. It helped keep me aware of the oath we took July 28th, 2013. It also reminded me that we are not alone in this battle and that we are much stronger as part of a team. I would like to humbly conclude by saying, Class of 2017, it was the privilege of my lifetime to be your president. I will forever feel indebted to you for the trust you placed upon me. There is nothing that has ever made me more proud than to represent you in the School of Medicine. Together, we have passed this hurdle, and I rest well knowing I would do it all over again, even if it means running for election a 5th time. Please know you will have a friend and colleague in me here at UofL. I hope you will stop and look around once in a while as you continue through residency. And lastly, classmates, we have all heard it said that our effort and sacrifices would be worth it in the end. I beg you to not settle for this as your ending. To be a physician is a commitment to a life of learning and service. I am confident this is a challenge you will seek and welcome. Thank you, congratulations, and go Cards.
Thank you, Dr. Wieste, for your remarks. It is my great honor and pleasure to introduce our commencement speaker this afternoon, Dr. Kelly McMasters. He is both my chairman and my hero. He is an alumni of Colgate University, Rutgers University, Robert Wood Johnson. He completed his fellowship in surgical oncology at MD Anderson. He completed his surgical training here at the University of Louisville, where after his fellowship, he returned to join faculty. He became the chairman of the department in roughly 2005 after the 34-year tenure of Dr. Hiram C. Polk Jr., after whom the department is now named. He has published over 200 articles, mentored dozens of surgeon scientists into this field, and is now the principal and lead investigator on innovative research using immunotherapy to target melanoma. But above all those accomplishments, you need to know why he was asked to be our commencement speaker today. For those who are graduating, and many of those of us on the platform, he represents the consummate professional. He represents our ideal of the intellect, the compassion, and the resilience that it takes to be a physician. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Kelly McMasters.
Well, thank you, Dr. Sutton. I'm afraid your introduction was better than my address. It's my great honor to give the commencement address for the University of Louisville School of Medicine class of 2017. 28 years ago, I graduated from medical school, and I remember the overwhelming sense of pride and accomplishment in finishing medical school, the relief of never having to study the Krebs cycle again, the excitement of moving to a different city in a different state, far from home, to begin residency training, of having to start fresh to develop a whole new set of friends and colleagues, the thrill of finally becoming a real doctor, balanced against the anxiety and fear of that solemn responsibility, of the knowledge that my decisions and actions could save lives and my mistakes could cost them. I remember that tangled mass of emotions like it was yesterday. But what I do not remember at all I assure you, is who the commencement speaker was at my graduation or what he or she said. I am holding all of you to a much higher standard. Each year at my house, we hold a party for the new interns. Faculty and residents generally attend, drink a few beers, eat too much food, and help the new interns celebrate the last few hours of their freedom before starting a challenging 5 or 8-year general surgery residency program. As tradition would have it, for the past dozen years or so, the new interns all volunteer to participate in a mandatory low-stakes poker game of Texas Hold'em. Why do we ask the new interns to play a poker game just before they take their first night on call, when they will hold the fate of patients in their hands, when their thoughts and deeds could mean the difference between life and death? Shouldn't they be studying something more important like anatomy or the Krebs cycle or something else? Perhaps there are many hidden lessons to be found in this simple game of poker. In poker, there are only 3 possible actions, 3 possible choices. Check, that's do nothing. Bet, or raise, that's just betting more than the person before you. Or fold, check, bet, or fold. Those are your only options. It would seem that the person with the best poker hand should always win. But if this were true, poker would just be a game of chance. In fact, the person with the best hand frequently loses, because it's much more important how well you play the cards you were dealt and how good your cards actually are. The most dramatic moment of a game of Texas Hold'em is when the player pushes all of his chips into the center of the table, betting all of his remaining money, and goes all in. At this moment, the player going all in realizes that there is no turning back, that she is committed to action that will likely result in either doubling her money at least, or losing it all. What's the point of this poker game, you might be asking yourselves? All of human interaction is a negotiation of sorts for resources, attention, recognition, prestige, status, power, and even love. The 3 basic choices, check, bet, or fold, are fundamentally synonymous with all the important decisions you will ever make and form the basis of all human interaction. Now, perhaps I'm overanalyzing the cosmic significance of a poker game, since I only get to play once a year with the interns. But here goes. Poker lesson number 1. You win more pots by betting than by checking, and you never win if you fold. Sometimes it's better to decide upon a course of action and pursue it even if the end result is unsatisfactory. It's frequently said that more harm is done by a timid surgeon than a bold one. Surgeons are also often said to be frequently wrong but never in doubt. Action usually trumps inaction, and no decision is frequently worse than the wrong decision. The same holds true of many other decisions you'll make in life and in your career. Be bold, be decisive, and never quit as long as you have a chip and a chair or your patient has a pulse and a blood pressure. Poker lesson number 2. You have to play the cards you're dealt. You don't get to choose what cards you get any more than you get to choose who your patients are, or what their comorbidities are, or who their families are. You don't get to choose the circumstances and obstacles that come your way. Sometimes you're dealt a losing hand that you can win, and sometimes you're dealt a winning hand that you lose. Play the cards that you were dealt and decide when it's time to check, bet, or fold. If you always fold when you're dealt a 10-2 offsuit, if you can't sometimes find a way to turn bad circumstances into opportunity, you'll have a difficult time in your career and in your personal life. Poker lesson number 3. You never win if you fold, but sometimes it's better to live to play another hand. Decisions in life to go all in should be made judiciously. You have to be prepared to lose it all. Choose your battles carefully, don't wage war on too many fronts, and don't fight battles you can't win. When facing difficult situations, I often ask myself, is this the hill I want to die on? Sometimes strategic inaction is better than action, although admittedly this is an acquired skill for surgeons. So my poker analogies, I admit, were really just a way of easing into the more difficult part of this commencement address, which is entitled Reflections from the Other Side. I neglected to say from the other side of what? I'm fairly sure you didn't expect me to talk about reflections from the other side of the poker table. And no, I haven't seen the light at the end of the tunnel, and nor have I had a glimpse of what's on the other side of this life. Nevertheless, I've certainly had some time to reflect on what's important in this one, especially on what's important to being a good doctor and a decent person. I make no claim to be either. The only thing I claim is at least I've had more time than you to think about it and consider these issues in the hope that I can learn from them. So here are some lessons I want to highlight for you today, class of 2017. When walking the tightrope, don't lose your balance. I'm a surgical oncologist. I operate on patients with cancer for a living. I spent my entire adult life either training to be a cancer surgeon or being one. Surgical oncologists focus on doing whatever it takes to cure the cancer. We excise, resect, ablate, and otherwise extirpate cancer. Surgery is still the most effective cancer therapy ever invented. We appreciate the help of our medical oncology and radiation oncology colleagues to try and improve those odds. But make no mistake, surgery is the most important part of most cancer therapy. Perhaps that will change in the future. I certainly hope so. Surgical oncologists focus intensively on doing what needs to be done to cut out the cancer. There's something innately gratifying about grappling with tumors and removing them with your bare hands. Or okay, maybe with a few instruments and with gloved hands, but you get the point. Surgical steel versus tumor, the battle is on. Many patients recover from surgery uneventfully and are cured of their cancer. Occasionally, patients will die because of the operations we perform. Not uncommonly, patients experience major complications and problems. We sometimes take big risks to achieve big rewards. Sometimes we push all in and lose. Before we see our cancer patients, we look at their x-rays. We want to see pictures of the cancer and stare it down, take its measure. We assess the patient's comorbidities and risk of surgery. At times it can seem as if we're treating a cancer that just happens to have a person attached to it. Physicians, even surgeons, are human, believe it or not. We protect ourselves using primal defense mechanisms because no human being could withstand complete empathy with an entire office full of patients suffering with cancer. No matter what specialty you're going into, you must resist the tendency to treat the disease and not the patient. I remember when this realization first smacked me in the face. I'm going to tell you a story that I've never told to anyone. I was a surgical oncology fellow at MD Anderson Cancer Center in Houston. The fellows thought we were all like Tom Cruise in the movie Top Gun, learning to be the biggest, baddest cancer surgeons in the country. We bragged to each other about all the complex, difficult cancer operations we performed. I had performed a 4-quarter amputation on a patient with sarcoma. 4-quarter amputation is removing the entire arm and shoulder, in this case, part of the rib cage and chest wall as well. Now that was just the kind of gruesome cancer operation I went there to learn how to do. The patient was a 19-year-old young lady from Spain. She didn't speak English and I didn't speak Spanish. She was beautiful in every way. She had shimmering dark hair, striking, perfect features, and piercing, soulful dark eyes. She was immensely courageous and prepared herself for this life-changing cancer operation with uncommon grace, dignity, and fortitude. While making morning rounds on post-operative day 1, I examined the patient, checked her incisions, witnessed the mutilation we had caused, then looked into those dark eyes and saw that the light in those eyes had dimmed. Her soul was crushed. Overcome with emotion, I quickly exited and walked to the nearest stairwell and sobbed piteously, having glimpsed into the eyes of this girl who spoke a different language but communicated so well. I wept in anguish and disgust for what we had done to this young lady, knowing that we had little choice but to attempt to remove her limb to try to save her life. I don't know what became of her, but I think of her often. At this time, I was ashamed of my stairwell breakdown. Surgeons don't cry. Human beings do. These days, I would be ashamed if I hadn't felt this emotion so strongly and would be concerned if this no longer bothered me. There is a very fine line in medicine between benefit and harm. No matter what field of medicine you practice, you will be faced with impossible choices. You must decide when to check, bet, or fold. You will make mistakes, and they will have serious and sometimes fatal consequences. The mark of a physician's character is in how he or she deals with his or her mistakes. Own your mistakes, admit them, learn from them, and use them to become better. You will lose your share of battles. Soldier on and continue to fight the good fight. We as physicians are forced to walk this tightrope on a regular basis. So remember, when walking the tightrope, don't lose your balance. As many of you know, my son Owen I rehearsed this and I was just fine. My son Owen died last year after a 5-year battle with leukemia. When he was first diagnosed, I knew virtually nothing about leukemia. I remembered nothing about it from medical school. All I knew was that leukemia was one of those cowardly blood cancers that surgeons couldn't cut out. As far as I can tell, the strategy for treating childhood leukemia is to give every toxic drug that a child could possibly tolerate in the hope that the child is stronger than the cancer. The treatment regimen was brutal. Innumerable chemotherapy drugs that made his hair fall out multiple times over the years, made him sick, weak, prone to life-threatening infections that he dealt with multiple times, drug reactions, intrathecal chemotherapy injected into the spine, high-dose steroids that made him bloated and miserable. This vicious cycle of apparent remission followed by relapse. Many days and nights, every major holiday it seemed, spent in the hospital. Bone marrow transplant that didn't cure the cancer, more chemotherapy, toxicity, experimental therapy, and eventually peace. So yes, I've seen the other side of the patient's room. Looking out of the doorway instead of looking in. I had never really been a patient before. I had never been the family member before. I had only been the doctor. So here are some lessons for you that I learned from the other side of the patient's room. Any night on a good surface, any night on a flat surface is a good night. My wife Beth and I spent countless nights sleeping in a pediatric hospital room, well over 100. I have no idea how many. We were confined to a hospital room or ICU room for weeks at a time sometimes. I was one of those family members you've seen when making rounds in the morning darkness, in your way as you try to examine the patient, asleep in a chair, on the floor, in a cot, or every conceivable type of contraption that hospitals provide for family members to sleep on. The chair type things are impossible to sleep in. It's like sleeping in the center seat in the coach section of the red-eye flight. So I was the family member with the crumpled clothing, uncombed hair, unwashed and unshaven in the morning. You might have found me snoring ignobly, dead to the world. When Owen needed me in the middle of the night, he often had to throw something at me to wake me up. Fortunately, he kept throwable objects close by at all times. More often, however, I would be waiting for you, the residents, to make rounds, to be sure I communicated all the important information about his condition since the prior day. I always tried to be cordial, professional, or even friendly in these interactions with the healthcare team. It was a lot easier to be congenial if I had gotten a couple of hours sleep on a flat surface. Remember, family members are under an enormous amount of stress caring for their loved ones. Sometimes the stress is too much, and they will seem accusatory, frustrated, angry, or full of contempt. They might well become overwhelmed with emotion and need to find a stairwell. Don't mistake their disheveled appearance, anxiety, fear, and questions and label them as difficult patients or difficult families. They are concerned about their loved ones. The louder and more agitated they become, the softer and calmer you must be. You will be in their shoes someday. And remember, any night on a flat surface is a good night. Next lesson, an ounce of empathy is worth 1,000 pounds of apathy. For any of you who will enter the field of pediatric oncology or be involved in treating children with cancer, you have my deep admiration. As a surgical oncologist, I mostly treat old people with cancer. That's child's play compared to treating childhood cancer. Owen was fortunate enough to have wonderful doctors almost without exception. Throughout the course of his disease, we experienced the difference between empathy and apathy. It doesn't take much to express a little bit of empathy. A little eye contact, a smile, kind word or gesture is all it takes. It's immensely soothing to patients and families. If you're looking at the chart, or these days typing into the electronic medical record, and not looking at the patient, you're making a big mistake. Patients and families can smell your apathy from a mile away. On your worst days, when you've been up all night and you've given everything you have to give, you must still act professionally, even if sometimes it's just an act. Sometimes you might need to bluff. Also, never forget that you're not on the front line in terms of the exchange of emotional energy. Doctors make rounds, have limited time with patients and families, often just a few minutes per day. Doctors write orders. Nurses care for patients. Nurses know about empathy. Respect that. And remember, an ounce of empathy is worth 1,000 pounds of apathy. Next lesson, sweat the small stuff. Excuse me. At one point in his treatment, Owen developed a pneumothorax, a collapsed lung requiring a chest tube. This recurred a couple more times, and because of a persistent air leak, his last chest tube stayed in for a couple of weeks. The new doctors in the audience understand that it's not pleasant to live with a chest tube for a couple of weeks. Owen's doctors responsible for this would check on him periodically, but not every day, because he still had an air leak and the chest tube obviously needed to stay in. It turned out the air leak wasn't from persistent leaking of air from Owen's lung, it was from a leak in the tubing connections. The chest tube stayed in much longer than necessary because of inattention to detail. I was very angry with myself for not figuring this out sooner, but I was just a parent. I shouldn't have to figure it out. The moral of this story is that the little things matter. Meticulous attention to every detail of patient care, every test, every x-ray, and actually, believe it or not, performing a history and physical examination. Important. As we frequently see in Surgery Morbidity and Mortality Conference, there's no procedure so trivial, no detail so small, that it can't make a big difference in patient outcomes. During my training, I got in the surgical habit of making rounds early in the morning, every day. Many people don't do this anymore. It's a routine, an active discipline that gets my day off to a good start, to make sure my patients are okay and deal with any problems they have before I have to do anything else that day. See your patients every day, develop good habits. When you're on your way home and you get that nagging feeling that you should have checked on that patient one more time before going home, turn around and go check on the patient. When you're on call and the nurse calls you about a patient, and the easy thing to do is give a verbal order and go back to sleep, get up and go see the patient. And remember, sweat the small stuff because it makes a difference. If you can't handle the small stuff, you'll not be able to handle the big stuff. Don't avoid hard conversations. I've taken care of a lot of cancer patients in my life. I tell patients with serious cancers that I will follow them until I die. We develop a long-term relationship. Many are cured by surgery, but some are not. When the cancer recurs, they always come back to see me and ask my advice about their treatment. I tell them that if it gets to the point that further treatment, like chemotherapy, is not going to help, I will tell them. When it gets to that point, I do tell them. Part of my job, often the most difficult, but often the most rewarding, is to ease patients to the other side with dignity. You would be amazed how often no other doctor is willing to have this conversation with the patient. Hope is a precious thing for patients to cling to, but false hope is just that, false. Learn the difference. It shouldn't be so hard for physicians to tell the truth. Patients and their families want to hear the truth, and they are eternally grateful to you for telling it. You don't have to bludgeon people with bad news. Learning how to deliver bad news with compassion requires some practice. I'm still practicing. I was never ready to hear bad news about Owen, but I'm grateful that I had a doctor that could tell it. So remember, don't avoid the hard conversations. Another lesson, aim small, miss small. Each of you is about to embark upon an exciting journey to define the purpose of your life. You've studied long and hard, you've prevailed against many obstacles, have demonstrated exceptional tenacity and determination to accomplish the goal of graduating from medical school. And now, all of that is meaningless. What do I mean by this? What I mean is it doesn't matter where you grew up, where you went to college, where you went to medical school, or whether you were at the bottom or the top of your medical school class. From here on out, your slate is wiped clean. You'll be on equal footing with all of your fellow residents wherever you may go. You'll have an equal opportunity to excel, to be mediocre, or to fail. Residency is hard. Life is hard. But none of you has chosen an easy path, and all of you understand the value of self-sacrifice to achieve your goals. It's easy to get lost in the crowd and never aspire to be anything but average, to be just good enough. Each of you is capable of achieving great things in your chosen specialties, of making a lasting difference in your community, your region, your country, and your world. Most people will tell you to aim high, but if you aim high and miss your target, you fail. I would say aim small, miss small. That means if you focus intensively on your target, even if you miss the target, you get close enough to be successful. Set big goals, but focus on small targets. Excellence is a result of discipline, study, hard work, practice, and the drive to be the best. You've come too far just to be an average doctor. You now have the opportunity to make a difference. Don't squander it. Remember, good enough is not good enough. Aim small and miss small. I confess that even though I've seen the other side, I need constant reminders to try to apply these lessons in my own life. So I will take no offense if, many years from now, or even just a couple of hours from now, you have no recollection of this address or who gave it. But maybe, just maybe, you'll hold on to a few bits and pieces of this commencement address, and despite all the pressures of medical practice and complexities of your personal lives, will remember why you went to medical school in the first place and what it means to be a good doctor. Remain mindful of what is on the other side. It's been my great honor to deliver this commencement address. I wish each of you success and happiness in your personal and professional lives.
Good afternoon. I'm Martin Traxler, Medical Center Director of our local VA hospital. All who enter the medical profession are choosing a noble path of service to mankind. There are 6 of our medical students, and now doctors, who have chosen to serve their country through a commission in the armed forces. I'd like to ask each of you to stand as I call your names, and I'm supposed to ask you all to hold your applause until the last one is announced, but especially after Dr. McMaster's speech, if one of these doctors and captains in the Air Force or Army were one of my kids, I'm sure I would stand up and cheer, and I promise I'll wait as long as I need to for you to finish applauding your children. The first is Dr. Catherine Allen, and now a captain in the United States Air Force. Captain Allen will be a general surgeon resident at Memorial Hospital University. Would you please stand, Catherine? There she is. Captain Jacob Bessler, Air Force, Internal Medicine, Keesler Air Force Base. Captain Emma Birch, Air Force, Emergency Medicine, Advocate Christ Medical Center. Captain Kimberly Stout, United States Army, Internal Medicine, Walter Reed, National Medical Center. Captain Evan Torlin, United States Army, Family Medicine, Tripler Army Medical Center. For those of you who don't know, Tripler is in Hawaii, so good on you, buddy. I don't know how you pulled that one off. Captain Andrew Withington, Army, Emergency Medicine, here at University of Louisville. As a Marine, I'm honored and humbled by the privilege, and I appreciate Dean Gansel for inviting me every year, to thank you for making the commitment today to protect and preserve the freedom around the world. And that's what you're doing. You're protecting freedom around the world for us all. So thank you all very much.
What a marvelous afternoon. Dean Gansel will give our new physicians their diplomas. Dr. Michael Stopchuk, Associate Dean for Student Affairs, and Dr. Amy Holthauser, Associate Dean for Medical Education, will hood students with the traditional green hood for medicine after they receive their diplomas. There's a professional photographer taking photos of each graduate as they receive their diploma and as they are hooded. We invite physicians and faculty members who are relatives of graduates and who are in academic apparel to participate in the hooding of your graduate. Please approach to the right of the stage as your graduate arrives to the left. Will the candidates in the first row please rise for the presentation of their diplomas? Well done, guys and gals. As the candidate comes to the podium, I will read the name, specialty, postgraduate appointment, and selected honors. It is my great privilege to present the members of the class of 2017. Please hold your applause until all of the graduates have been presented. Dr. Catherine Elizabeth Allen has a residency position in general surgery at Memorial Health University Medical Center in Savannah, Georgia. Dr. Marika Antomaseris has a residency position in neurology at Ohio State University Medical Center in Columbus. Dr. Blake Edward Averill has a residency position in family medicine at St. Francis Hospital Center in Indianapolis. Dr. Caitlin Carol Bachman has a residency position in general surgery at Case Western University Hospital's Cleveland Medical Center in Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. Bachman is graduating magna cum laude. Dr. Safik Barum has a residency position in pediatrics at University of Louisville affiliated hospitals. Dr. Sarah Hall Bennett has a residency position in emergency medicine at University of Louisville affiliated hospitals. Dr. Danielle C. Barrera has a residency position in general surgery at San Joaquin General Hospital in French Camp, California. Dr. Jacob Christopher Bessler, in absentia, because his wife is close to delivering their little girl. He has a residency position in internal medicine at Kessler Air Force Base in Biloxi, Mississippi. Dr. Megan Clifton Bivens has a residency position in pediatrics at Children's Mercy Hospital in Kansas City, Missouri. Dr. Matt T. Bojanowski has a residency position in psychiatry at Jackson Memorial Hospital in Miami, Florida. Dr. Stephen Rhodes Brown has a preliminary medicine position at University of Louisville affiliated hospitals, followed by a residency position in diagnostic radiology at University of Alabama Medical Center, Birmingham. Dr. Diane Marie Carden Buckley has a residency position in pediatrics at University of Louisville affiliated hospitals. Dr. Buckley is graduating summa cum laude and is a member of Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Medical Society. Dr. Mitchell James Buller has a residency position in plastic surgery at University of South Florida, Morsani College of Medicine in Tampa. Dr. Emma Catherine Raver Birch has a residency position in emergency medicine at Advocate Christ Medical Center in Oak Lawn, Illinois. Dr. Thomas Andrew Burkhead has a residency position in internal medicine at Christ Hospital in Cincinnati. Dr. Emily Canido Camp has a residency position in medicine pediatrics at Vanderbilt University Medical Center in Nashville. Dr. Camp is graduating magna cum laude and is a member of Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Medical Society. Dr. Hannah Elizabeth Cantor has a residency position in pediatrics at University of Texas at Austin Dell Medical School. Dr. Carl Alexander Hill Karaskar has a preliminary medicine position followed by a physical medicine and rehabilitation residency, both at University of Louisville affiliated hospitals. Dr. Leah Beth Shakunke has a residency position in pediatrics at Wright State University Boonshoft School of Medicine in Dayton, Ohio. Dr. Angelo Anthony Celeberti Jr. has a residency position in internal medicine at Loyola University Medical Center in Maywood, Illinois. Dr. Ashley Marie Celeberti has a residency position in pediatrics at Loyola University Medical Center in Maywood, Illinois. Dr. Amy M. Clark has a residency position in pediatrics at Medical University of South Carolina in Charleston. Dr. Clark is graduating cum laude. Dr. Adam Jared Clark has a transitional year at McNeil Hospital in Berwyn, Illinois, followed by a residency position in ophthalmology at University of Louisville affiliated hospitals. Dr. Meredith R. Klaus has a residency position in neurology at Wright State University Boonshoft School of Medicine in Dayton, Ohio. Dr. Daniel Harrison Cook has a transitional year at University of Chicago Medical Center in Evanston, Illinois, followed by a residency position in diagnostic radiology at Medical University of South Carolina in Charleston. Dr. Megan Buttleman Correll has a residency position in pediatrics at Medical College of Georgia in Augusta. Dr. Corey Peyton Cox has a residency position in family medicine at Mountain Area Health Education Center in Asheville, North Carolina. Dr. Lucas A. Daly has a preliminary surgery year followed by a residency position in interventional radiology at Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center in Boston. Dr. Sarah Daly has a residency position in pediatrics, psychiatry, child psychiatry at Tufts Medical Center in Boston. Dr. Daly is a member of Gold Humanism Honor Society. Dr. James Kyle Damron has a residency position in anesthesiology at University of Alabama Medical Center, Birmingham. Dr. Marlo Gates Diekman has a residency position in family medicine at Methodist Hospital in Sacramento, California. Dr. Diekman is a member of Gold Humanism Honor Society. Dr. James Trenton Dixon has a preliminary medicine year at University of Louisville affiliated hospitals, followed by a residency position in diagnostic radiology at Cleveland Clinic Foundation in Ohio. Dr. Devin Wayne Druin has a residency position in preliminary surgery at University of Kentucky Medical Center in Lexington. Dr. Elena H. Dush Bryant has a residency position in pediatrics at Grand Rapids Medical Education Partners in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Dr. Caitlin Nicole Edwards has a residency position in otolaryngology at University of Florida College of Medicine Shands Hospital in Gainesville. Dr. Edwards is graduating magna cum laude and is a member of Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Medical Society. Dr. Mark Anthony Eade has a residency position at general surgery at Dartmouth Hitchcock Medical Center in Lebanon, New Hampshire. Dr. Eade is a member of Gold Humanism Honor Society. Dr. Ryan Christopher Eade has a residency position in internal medicine at Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center in Boston. Dr. Eade is graduating magna cum laude as a member of the Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Medical Society and the Gold Humanism Honor Society. Dr. Victoria Allison Elliott has a residency position in pediatrics at Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital in St. Petersburg, Florida. Dr. Rachel Lynn Evans has a residency position in child neurology at Louisiana State University School of Medicine in New Orleans. Dr. Abigail Marie Fieldhouse has a residency position in pediatrics at Indiana University School of Medicine in Indianapolis. Dr. Fieldhouse is a member of the Gold Humanism Honor Society. Dr. Lisa Nicole Fioretti has a residency position in medicine pediatrics at University of Cincinnati Medical Center. Dr. Fioretti is a graduating magna cum laude as a member of the Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Medical Society and the Gold Humanism Honor Society. Dr. Clifford Lawrence Freeman has a residency position in emergency medicine at Vanderbilt University Medical Center in Nashville. Dr. Freeman is graduating cum laude, is a member of the Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Medical Society and the Gold Humanism Honor Society. Dr. Caitlin Marie Gambrell has a residency position in obstetrics gynecology at Indiana University School of Medicine in Indianapolis. Dr. Tyler Edward Gears has a preliminary medicine year followed by a dermatology residency, both at University of Louisville affiliated hospitals. Dr. Gears is graduating summa cum laude and is a member of the Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Medical Society. Dr. Elizabeth Tarter Gerlach has a residency position in family medicine at Baptist Health in Madisonville, Kentucky. Dr. Justin M. Givens has a residency position in orthopedic surgery at University of Louisville affiliated hospitals. Dr. Adam Lee Goebel has a residency position in obstetrics gynecology at Good Samaritan Hospital in Cincinnati, Ohio. Dr. Megan Elizabeth Grader has a residency position in pediatrics at University of Florida College of Medicine, Arnold Palmer Hospital for Children in Orlando. Dr. Jonathan Adam Greenberg has a residency position in psychiatry at Dartmouth Hitchcock Medical Center in Lebanon, New Hampshire. Dr. Jonathan Greer IV has a residency position in emergency medicine at University of Virginia in Charlottesville. Dr. Greer is a member of the Gold Humanism Honor Society. Dr. Shireen Lene Griffin has a residency position in internal medicine at Ohio State University Medical Center in Columbus. Dr. Griffin is graduating cum laude. Dr. Eric Charles Gruenthal has a residency position in neurology at Cleveland Clinic Foundation in Ohio. Dr. Gruenthal is graduating magna cum laude and is a member of the Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Medical Society. Dr. Tyler DeWitt Hafler has a preliminary surgery position at University of Arkansas in Little Rock. Dr. Vincent Patrick Hancock has a preliminary surgery position at Riverside Methodist in Columbus, Ohio. Dr. Charles William Hargis has a residency position in emergency medicine at University of Louisville affiliated hospitals. Dr. Katie Lee Harwell has a residency position in internal medicine at University of Utah affiliated hospitals in Salt Lake City. Dr. Samantha Brooke Hayes has a residency position in family medicine at Baptist Health in Madisonville, Kentucky. Dr. Joshua Albert Heath has a preliminary medicine year followed by a residency position in physical medicine and rehabilitation, both at University of Louisville affiliated hospitals. Dr. McKinley Benjamin Heflin has a residency position in internal medicine at University of Kentucky Medical Center in Lexington. Dr. Samantha Rachel Heydrich has a residency position in pediatrics at Indiana University School of Medicine in Indianapolis. Dr. Heydrich is graduating cum laude, is a member of the Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Medical Society and the Gold Humanism Honor Society. Dr. Addie Julie Hyman has a residency position in general surgery at University of Oklahoma College of Medicine in Tulsa. Dr. Ross Myers Hempel has a residency position in general surgery at University of South Florida Morsani College of Medicine in Tampa. Dr. Evan Marcus Henricks has a residency position in internal medicine geriatrics at Medical College of Wisconsin affiliated hospitals in Milwaukee. Dr. Rebecca J. Hertog has a residency position in internal medicine at University of Michigan hospitals in Ann Arbor. Dr. Hertog is graduating magna cum laude and is a member of the Alpha Mega Alpha Honor Medical Society. Dr. Ryan Andrew Hicks has a residency position in internal medicine at Ohio State University Medical Center in Columbus. Dr. Hicks is a member of the Gold Humanism Honor Society. Dr. Janan Aliyah Hillel has a residency position in family medicine at Oregon Health and Science University in Portland. Dr. Hillel is graduating cum laude and is a member of the Alpha Mega Alpha Honor Medical Society. Dr. Tamara Faith Hinton in absentia is an August graduate. Dr. Amelia Herstanovich Kadich has a residency position in internal medicine at University of Louisville affiliated hospitals. Dr. Benjamin David Hume has a residency position in anesthesiology at University of Maryland Medical Center in Baltimore. Dr. Pooja R. Jadhav has a residency position in internal medicine at St. Louis University School of Medicine in Missouri. Dr. Courtney Aaron Jenny has a residency position in obstetrics gynecology at University of Tennessee School of Medicine in Knoxville. Dr. Jenny is graduating summa cum laude, is a member of Alpha Mega Alpha Honor Medical Society and the Gold Humanism Honor Society. Dr. Nicole Marie Clements Jody has a clinical research fellowship in ocular pathology at University of Wisconsin in Madisonville. Dr. Elvis Joseph has a residency position in family medicine at University of Louisville affiliated hospitals. Dr. Joseph is graduating magna cum laude and is a member of Alpha Mega Alpha Honor Medical Society. Dr. Ryan M. Kaufman has a residency position in internal medicine at the University of Louisville affiliated hospitals. Dr. Milad Michael Kushnud has a residency position in child neurology at Children's Hospital in Los Angeles, California. Dr. Kushnud is a member of the Gold Humanism Honor Society. Dr. Woy Han Kim has a preliminary surgery year at University of Louisville affiliated hospitals. Dr. Ryan Mikhail Burdett Kaiser has a residency position in neurology at University of South Alabama in Mobile. Dr. Julie Ann Clinch has a residency position in pediatrics at Indiana University School of Medicine in Indianapolis. Dr. Arushi R. Kumar has a preliminary medicine year followed by a residency position in neurology, both at New York University School of Medicine in New York. Dr. Manor Gashaw Lake has a preliminary medicine year followed by a residency position in diagnostic radiology, both at Mount Auburn Hospital in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Dr. Lake is graduating magna cum laude, is a member of Alpha Mega Alpha Honor Medical Society and the Gold Humanism Honor Society. Dr. Ashley N. Lee has a residency position in general surgery at University of Buffalo School of Medicine in Buffalo, New York. Dr. Alexander L. Levine has a residency position in anesthesiology at University at Buffalo School of Medicine in Buffalo, New York. Dr. Christopher James Lombardi has a residency position in psychiatry at University of Louisville affiliated hospitals. Dr. Michael Edward Lovelace has a residency position in family medicine at Palmetto Health Richland in Columbia, South Carolina. Dr. Lovelace is a member of the Gold Humanism Honor Society. Dr. Allison Nicole Joanne Lyle has a residency position in pediatrics at Indiana University School of Medicine in Indianapolis. Dr. Lyle is a member of the Gold Humanism Honor Society. Dr. Hugh Suan Mai is an August 2017 graduate. Dr. Galina Mamaliga has a preliminary medicine year at University of Louisville affiliated hospitals, followed by a residency position in diagnostic radiology at Vanderbilt University Medical Center in Nashville. Dr. Jonathan Kenneth Marner has a residency position in anesthesiology at Loyola University Medical Center in Maywood, Illinois. Dr. Cullen Spencer Marshall has a residency position in child neurology at Cincinnati Children's Hospital in Cincinnati. Dr. Marshall is graduating cum laude and is a member of the Alpha Mega Alpha Honor Medical Society. Dr. Terry Lanee Mason is a December 2017 graduate. Dr. Paul Brandon McGeorge has a residency position in diagnostic radiology at University Hospital Jackson in Jackson, Mississippi. Dr. Haley Elizabeth Meek is a December 2017 graduate. Dr. Anna Christina Mendia has a residency position in obstetrics gynecology at University of Florida College of Medicine Shands Hospital in Gainesville. Dr. Mendia is a member of the Alpha Mega Alpha Honor Medical Society. Dr. Kwang L. Nguyen has a residency position in internal medicine at University of Louisville affiliated hospitals. Dr. Gia J. Huey, in absentia, is pursuing oral maxillofacial surgery at University of Louisville Schools of Dentistry and Medicine. Dr. Adam Thomas Orr has a residency position in diagnostic radiology at Grand Rapids Medical Education Partners in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Dr. Monique Aisha Osigbemi has a residency position in anesthesiology at University of Louisville affiliated hospitals. Dr. Khushbubin S. Patel has a residency position in family medicine at University of Louisville affiliated hospitals. Dr. Tricia Harish Patel is pursuing a residency in 2018. Dr. Dylan S. Pender is pursuing a residency in 2018. Dr. Charles McGee Pfister has a residency position in general surgery at Ochsner Clinic Foundation in New Orleans, Louisiana. Dr. John H. Proctor has a residency position in family medicine at St. Elizabeth Medical Center in Edgewood, Kentucky. Dr. Lauren Ashley Protzer has a residency position in orthopedic surgery at University of Louisville affiliated hospitals. Dr. Monty James Putman has a residency position in emergency medicine at Orlando Health in Orlando, Florida. Dr. Putman is a member of the Gold Humanism Honor Society. Dr. Ashwin M. Raghavan has a residency position in urology at University of Toledo in Toledo, Ohio. Dr. Zan Zeka Rahman has a preliminary medicine year at Presence St. Francis Hospital in Evanston, Illinois, followed by a residency position in neurology at Mount Fior Medical Center in Einstein in Bronx, New York. Dr. Rebecca Vandana Raj has a preliminary medicine year at Loyola University Medical Center in Maywood, Illinois. Dr. Raj is a member of the Gold Humanism Honor Society. Dr. Vikram Gopal Ramji has a residency position in otolaryngology at University of Oklahoma College of Medicine in Oklahoma City. Dr. Huma Nargis Rashid has a residency position in pediatrics at Children's Hospital of Michigan in Detroit. Dr. Eric Christopher Riedinger has a residency position in urology at University of Tennessee School of Medicine in Knoxville. Dr. Riedinger is a graduating summa cum laude, is a member of the Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Medical Society and the Gold Humanism Honor Society. Dr. Stephanie Ann Riley has a residency position in orthopedic surgery at University of South Florida, Morsani College of Medicine in Tampa. Dr. Riley is graduating summa cum laude and is a member of the Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Medical Society. Dr. Xavier Antonio Robinson has a preliminary surgery year at St. Louis University School of Medicine, followed by a residency position in diagnostic radiology at Barnes Jewish Hospital, both in St. Louis. Dr. Michael Paul Rogers has a residency position in general surgery at University of South Florida, Morsani College of Medicine in Tampa. Dr. Kyle Alexander Romines an August 2017 graduate. Dr. Sarah Ashley Sadeji has a residency position in internal medicine at University of Louisville affiliated hospitals. Dr. Maggie Sachs Sager has a residency position in obstetrics gynecology at Hofstra Northwell School of Medicine in New York, New York. Dr. Mary Cheryl Saylor has a residency position in family medicine at University of Kentucky Medical Center in Lexington. Dr. Dhruv Sharma has a residency position in otolaryngology at Indiana University School of Medicine in Indianapolis. Dr. Sharma is graduating summa cum laude and is a member of the Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Medical Society. Dr. Travis Allen Shutt has a residency position in otolaryngology at University of Louisville affiliated hospitals. Dr. Shutt is a member of the Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Medical Society. Dr. Christian M. Siegel has a residency position in emergency medicine at St. Louis University School of Medicine in Missouri. Dr. Andrew Burton Smith has a residency position in family medicine at Tacoma Family Medicine in Tacoma, Washington. Dr. Aaron Francis Smith has a residency position in anesthesiology at University of Tennessee School of Medicine in Knoxville. Dr. Robert Taylor Spalding has a preliminary medicine year followed by a residency position in dermatology, both at the University of Louisville affiliated hospitals. Dr. Travis Paul Spalding has a residency position in internal medicine at Vanderbilt University Medical Center in Nashville. Dr. Spalding is a member of the Alpha Honor Medical Society and the Gold Humanism Honor Society. Dr. Courtney Bourne Spenceley has a residency position in family medicine at University of Michigan Hospitals in Ann Arbor. Dr. Spenceley is graduating summa cum laude and is a member of the Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Medical Society. Dr. Kimberly D. Stout has a residency position in internal medicine at Walter Reed National Military Center in Bethesda, Maryland. Dr. Joseph Taylor Stephan has a preliminary medicine year at Jewish Hospital in Cincinnati, followed by a residency position in diagnostic radiology at Indiana University School of Medicine in Indianapolis. Dr. Trevor Bartlett Stone has a preliminary medicine year at University of Louisville affiliated hospitals, followed by a residency position in diagnostic radiology at Medical University of South Carolina in Charleston. Dr. Ryan Luke Sturgill has a residency position in otolaryngology at University of Florida College of Medicine Shands Hospital in Gainesville. Dr. Sturgill is graduating summa cum laude as a member of the Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Medical Society and the Gold Humanism Honor Society. Dr. Anna Hellman Thaman has a residency position in child neurology at University of Louisville affiliated hospitals. Dr. Emily Collins Tijuana has a preliminary medicine year followed by a residency position in diagnostic radiology, both at University of Louisville affiliated hospitals. Dr. Tuwana is a member of the Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Medical Society and the Gold Humanism Honor Society. Dr. Nathaniel Rowley Toop has a residency position in neurological surgery at Ohio State University Medical Center in Columbus. Dr. Toop is graduating cum laude. Dr. Evan Charles Torline has a residency position in family medicine at Tripler Army Medical Center in Honolulu. Dr. Bryn Hall Underwood has a residency position in medicine pediatrics at Ohio State University Medical Center in Columbus. Dr. Underwood is a member of the Gold Humanism Honor Society. Dr. Samuel Clinton Walling has a residency position in general surgery at University of Kentucky Medical Center in Lexington. Dr. Walling is a member of the Gold Humanism Honor Society. Dr. Govind Warrior has a residency position in internal medicine at University of Michigan Hospitals in Ann Arbor. Dr. Gregory A. Way II is pursuing oral maxillofacial surgery at University of Louisville Schools of Dentistry and Medicine. Dr. Jeremy Daniel Webb has a residency position in family medicine at Honor Health in Scottsdale, Arizona. Dr. Dexter William Weeks has a residency position in plastic surgery at University of Texas Medical Branch in Galveston. Dr. Weeks is a member of the Gold Humanism Honor Society. Dr. Ann Tu Whitehouse has a residency position in anesthesiology at University of North Carolina Hospitals in Chapel Hill. Dr. Nathan Scott Wiedemann has a residency position in family medicine at Bethesda Hospital in Cincinnati, Ohio. Dr. Matthew Nathaniel Williams has a preliminary medicine year followed by a residency position in diagnostic radiology, both at Wake Forest Baptist Medical Center in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Dr. Samuel Guy Williams has a residency position in pediatrics at Indiana University School of Medicine in Indianapolis. Dr. Matthew Allen Wilson has a residency position in anesthesiology at University of Louisville affiliated hospitals. Dr. Andrew Joshua Withington has a residency position in emergency medicine at University of Louisville affiliated hospitals. Dr. Matthew Robert Wiesty has a residency position in general surgery at University of Louisville affiliated hospitals. Dr. Wiesty is graduating cum laude and is a member of the Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Medical Society. Dr. Stephen Wortman has a residency position in neurology at Riverside Community Hospitals in Riverside, California. Dr. Ramakanth Reddy Yakanti has a residency position in orthopedic surgery at Jackson Memorial Hospital in Miami, Florida. These then are the graduates of the School of Medicine for the year of 2017. Please join me in congratulating them. Dr. Ann Shaw, Vice Dean for Undergraduate Medical Education, will administer the oath.
The original Hippocratic Oath was developed around 400 BC and has endured as an expression of medical values through centuries of change in the medical profession. Today's version of the oath is significantly revised from the original. It has been broadened to include the many dimensions of a modern physician's ethical considerations. By swearing to the Hippocratic Oath, medical graduates commit themselves not only to the content specific to their contemporary practice, but also to the ideal that medicine is at its most fundamental level of moral enterprise. Will the graduates please rise and repeat after me the Oath of Hippocrates, which is found on the inside cover of your program. I also invite all physicians in the audience to rise and repeat the oath. Please repeat after me. I solemnly pledge to consecrate my life to the service of humanity. I solemnly pledge to consecrate my life to the service of humanity. I will give to my teachers the respect and gratitude that is their due. I will give to my teachers the respect and gratitude that is their due. I will practice my profession with conscience and dignity. I will practice my profession with conscience and dignity. The health of my patient will be my first consideration. The health of my patient will be my first consideration. I will respect the secrets that are confided in me even after the patient has died. I will respect the secrets that are confided in me even after the patient has died. I will maintain by all the means in my power the honor and the noble traditions of the medical profession. I will maintain by all means in my power the honor and the noble traditions of the medical profession. My colleagues will be my sisters and brothers. My colleagues will be my sisters and brothers. I will not permit considerations of age, disease or disability, creed, ethnic origin, gender, nationality, political affiliation, race, sexual orientation, social standing, or any other factor to intervene between my duty and my patient. I will not permit considerations of age, disease, or disability, creed, ethnic origin, gender, nationality, political affiliation, race, sexual orientation, social standing, or any other factor to intervene between my duty and my patient. I will maintain the utmost respect for human life. I will maintain the utmost respect for human life. I will not use my medical knowledge contrary to the laws of humanity, even under threat. I will not use my medical knowledge contrary to the laws of humanity, even under threat. I make these promises solemnly, freely, and upon my honor. I make these promises solemnly, freely, and upon my honor. Thank you, physicians, and congratulations. Please be seated. It is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Gregory Postal, Interim President, who will close the ceremony.
Thank you, Ann. Congratulations to the class of 2017. Well done. It has truly been a long weekend, a celebration for the University of Louisville, as more than 3,000 students received undergraduate and advanced degrees from our various schools and colleges here at U of L. This is our largest graduating class ever, and for that we are truly grateful. I do want to say thank you to Dr. Kelly McMasters for the truly compelling remarks that he gave today. I hope that the graduates try their best to remember what he said. He knows what he's talking about. And to Dean Gansel, you should be truly proud. The School of Medicine remains a cornerstone of the university, and today's graduating class with this impressive list of programs into which all of you have matched is another fine example of the school's success. So I have been asked to announce that there will be a reception following this program in the East Tower Suite on the second floor of the hotel. And with that, this convocation is adjourned. Thank you.